In March of 2003, I entered Iraq with the 101st Airborne Division. 18 months later, I had completed my one-year deployment as well as my 6-year enlistment, and I was preparing to start a new life as a college student. I learned many important lessons in Iraq. Loud noises in the middle of the night are an attack, suspicious vehicles on the highway are a threat, and nothing is guaranteed past the next 5 minutes. When I returned home, I learned that loud noises in the middle of the night are a clumsy cat, suspicious vehicles on the highway are just bad drivers, and I'm responsible for planning not only the next 5 days, but the next 5 months and the next 5 years. Many veterans returning home face readjustment challenges, such as substance abuse, reckless behavior, and PTSD. I had to find my own resources for coping with these challenges. Fortunately, I was lucky. The way we go to war has changed, and the needs of today's returning veterans are different from those in the past. I'm excited that the Connecticut Department of Veterans Affairs and the CCSU, Center for Public Policy and Social Research, are working to identify and address the needs of this newest generation of veterans.
The needs assessment all began with an email I received as Commissioner of Veterans Affairs from a Marine who had been wounded in Iraq. And he was recuperating still in Iraq at the time, and he said that he had looked at our website and was looking for benefits, and he didn't see anything for the new guys. He was looking and saw everything was for the old guys. What about the troops coming home? And I corresponded with him several times, asking him, what would he really like to see as far as new resources. And he talked about wanting to go to school. He didn't know what it would be like when he came home, what kinds of programs were there for him, and also he was very interested in getting a home. So it got me to thinking, and I told him in an email when he returned home, would he please come and see me and we see what we could work out, and I was really looking for him for some guidance in what to do. However, he was returned to the field, and 3 months later he was killed in action. So his challenge to me took on a great deal of importance, and I was looking for ways to really be able to support this new generation of veterans, the men and women. Having served as a nurse during the Vietnam War, I really remember what it was like when we came home. I know that we adopted a mantra, so to speak, of never again will one generation of veterans turn their back on another. And with that in mind, I looked for someone to partner with and had good relationship with Central Connecticut University and the Center for Public Policy and Social Research. And so we got together and started brainstorming on what kind of an approach we would take. And the needs assessment was developed, and we had some good resources behind it. We also got good replies. And so the most important thing is the needs assessment has helped to guide me in the development of programs, but also it has informed our community colleges and universities and the General Assembly to develop programs which really do meet the needs of veterans returning to the state of Connecticut.
Since a key part of the mission of the Center for Public Policy and Social Research is to serve as a resource for state government, we were honored when Governor Rell and VA Commissioner Schwartz asked us to conduct this needs assessment. And I was particularly pleased to be able to tap two of Central Connecticut State University's very best research professors in this field, Dr. Marc Goldstein and Dr. Jim Malley, each with great expertise and a real passion for helping veterans.
Our data collection involved both qualitative measures. We conducted focus groups with veterans and with service providers from various organizations that serve veterans, and quantitative measures, a mail-out survey to over 2,000 veterans. The information we gathered helped us put together a picture of the returned veteran and some of his or her concerns. Some things surprised us. For example, we found that Connecticut veterans returning from Iraq and Afghanistan were predominantly Army National Guard members who were older, average age about 34, predominantly white, and were better educated than the typical Connecticut resident. Over a third held bachelor's degrees or higher. Over half were married. Other things, unfortunately, did not surprise us. More than 1 in 5 had clinical levels of post-traumatic stress disorder, and nearly 1 in 5 reported symptoms suggestive of traumatic brain injury. The kinds of issues that veterans noted included difficulties with interpersonal relationships. This included problems relating to spouses, children, parents, and peers, dissatisfaction with their jobs. A number of veterans told us that their jobs were not as satisfying as before their deployment and that there were few opportunities for advancement, and problems of health. Over a third reported unmet medical needs. For those veterans who had returned to school, many were disturbed to find that their GI benefits, while covering the cost of tuition, did not cover the cost of various fees, which at some state universities exceeded the cost of tuition. Based on these and other findings, we were able to put together a number of recommendations regarding how Connecticut and its institutions might respond.
Among other things, we have recommended a continuum of natural supports within the veterans' own communities. Supports that can restore a sense of hope, normalcy, and control over their lives. Veterans returning to civilian life want nothing more than to return to their families, their place of work, and their schools. Some of them need treatment and should be encouraged to seek it. However, there are also resources of support outside the walls of VA hospitals and outpatient clinics. Such supports include the veterans themselves, the media, the veterans' own community, colleges and universities, and the Vet Center. The veterans in our focus group spoke of a strong need to affiliate with their fellow Iraq and Afghanistan veterans, not only out of a sense of camaraderie, but because they believe only other veterans could truly understand them. We recommended an ongoing information campaign by radio, TV, and newspapers that communicates a message of support and appreciation to returning veterans and provides them with much needed information about resources for help for veterans and their families. By providing some space and a minimal amount of administrative support, town social service departments could capitalize on the veterans' desire to help one another by developing volunteer welcome home programs and drop-in centers. Colleges, community colleges, and universities are an excellent place for the veterans to develop clubs and/or drop-in centers. Because so many veterans return to college to use their GI Bill benefits after deployment, they can derive tremendous therapeutic value from the mutual support that they can provide each other throughout the educational process. The federally operated vet centers continue to play a pivotal role in providing both moral and therapeutic support to veterans and their families. They are community-based, and their small size avoids the impersonality of larger mental health treatment institutions. It is simply not enough to relegate the problems of the emotionally wounded warrior to the state and federal VA healthcare systems. The community bears as much responsibility for honoring and supporting the men and women who have sacrificed their lives for the cause of freedom.